Soundtrack to the love we make. Let your love flow and shower us. Let your love flow and shower us.
Peace and love, peace and love. On my way to work. Lately, the workspace has been it's been different. A lot of it is because just mentally, my mind has been so focused on what I'm doing now, outside of work. The things that I'm working on, the things that I'm piecing together. And just how everything has been lining up, everything has been falling into place, like exactly the way that I need them to. The way that I wanted them to. And the thing that I think a lot of times confuses us or leads us to believing that it's not going to happen. The things that we desire, the things that we're wanting to do with our lives, we get to places sometimes where we feel like maybe it won't happen. It's just maybe I'm too late. And we allow these negative thoughts to enter because we haven't seen it come to pass yet, or it hasn't happened yet. So what I've learned or been learning on my journey is the life that you want to live is a life that you have to create. A lot of times we work jobs and we're like waiting on that day, that moment, that raise that's gonna get us to that right amount that we'll be able to live the life that we want to live. But if we ever were to sit down with some paper and a pencil and do some basic math, I think that we could find that equation doesn't work. The fact is, as frequent or as often as you're receiving raises on your job, there's also inflation. So as you make more, prices go up. So, and this was just an example that I used the other day. Let's say that you're making, and I'll start small. If you're making, I don't know, let's say $30,000 a year, right? Your expenses are probably somewhere near 20,000+, and so that's leaving less than $10,000 per year of income that can be spent on anything that's not included in your budget or that's not a standard expense. Power, water, roof, home, what I'm saying, gas, food. These are the standard expenses we'll have, but that doesn't include the unexpected or the unknown, the vacations, the maintenance on a vehicle or home, whatever else may come up that you have to spend money on. So with that $10,000 or less, it really ends up being pretty much nothing by the end of the year. It's not like it's money that you're able to just sit and hold on to. But even if you were, right? Even if you were to come out of a year with $10,000 leftover cash, how many years would it take for you to become a millionaire at that rate? That's if you didn't spend any of your additional income. And we can do this at any income rate. I just said 30,000, but you can do it at 50,000. Somebody who's making 50,000 or 100,000 a year, they're not going to, more than likely they're not going to live in an area that they don't feel their salary should represent. So their cost of living is going to be higher because they're at that rate that they're making. They're making more, so they're going to be spending more, to accommodate their living. And, a bigger space oftentimes takes more power to heat or cool that space. So it's when we start looking at that math, the what's coming in and what's going out is going to be fairly close. It's not going to be much of a gap. It's not going to be a wide gap between them. So at that rate, let's just say if you had $10,000 left over per year, how many years would it take you to become a millionaire? I think it'd be like 100 years. So that's just to reach 1 million, right? And we're doing basic math because it's just something we need to think about. We need to sit and look at. I don't think that the job model gives you an opportunity to, and I know there are people who make 6 figures on their job, right? But then after making the 6 figures, for those, in those fields that can make 6 figures a year on a job, not being an executive, I'm saying just being a regular schmegular employee. It's not a lot of jobs where regular employees are making 6 figures a year. And it's definitely not a lot of jobs where regular employees are making $1 million a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know if that's a real thing. To be a regular employee bringing in millions at a job. I think you have to cross over into that executive side of things to experience that type of income. But that's just me right now just talking, This is not fact that I'm speaking currently about whether or not there's a job that pays $1 million a year as to a regular employee with no title. So my point is, if you're working a regular job, if you're making $75,000 a year on your job, 9 times out of 10 your expenses are gonna be somewhere close. It might be $60,000, so you might have a $15,000 gap. So it might not take you 100 years to reach that point. So my point is this: the job has been different for me lately because I've been in there like in heavy thought about what I'm about to do next. Because the math is not adding up for me to remain an employee. So I've been at peace at work, and I've been staying out of the way. I still check in with my people, but I've been staying out the way. I've been kind of just letting things unfold. I shared some things with the owner that I saw that I'm very passionate about. And, I won't go into that conversation now. That was a pretty heavy conversation. But I just expressed the things that I've been seeing for 8 years, and like, there's been no change. There will be no change. And when you know that, and you can either keep complaining about it or you can do something about it. So I've been in the space of doing something about it. I've been working on creating the life that I want to live, not the life that I am forced to live because I can only come out here and work on a job or ask for a job, So I've been getting back to what I need to be doing to create the life that I want to live, to be able to leave something to my children. The math does not add up on working alone. There has to be another form or source of income. So I'm out here lining up some things. I'm not gonna walk off the job today, but I am positioning myself to be able to remove myself from the job. So I just encourage everybody to, at least at some point, think about the life that you want to live. Think about your current trajectory, or the current salary that you're making on your job, and how long, based on what's coming in, what's going out, how many years would it take you to reach the level of having $1 million tucked away? And once you think about that and come up with that answer, then it can do a couple things for you. It could wake you up and say, wait a minute, let me think about this. Man, I really always wanted to get myself into a higher wealth level. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to have things and enjoy things. It's like, how long it would take me 100 years of working to be able to put that away. And once you think about that, I think that changes your perspective. Changes the way that you process and think about what you're doing. And that's the place that I reached. So, that's why, or where my focus has been. When I'm at work, I'm thinking about my next move, I go in there, I do my job on my iPad, and I'm out of there, I do have a little project that I'm working on, though, that's going to require me to, I got to get a new case. It's going to require me to probably hit the job a little harder for a couple days next week and the week after. But after that, it's back to it. But yeah, that's all, y'all. I just wanted to just come back and reiterate that. Like, I strongly suggest we start looking at some math, especially if we all want to live particular lives, beyond where we are now. We want to live greater. We want to have more. You know, if this is something that is on your agenda, even being able to leave something to your children, if that's on a part of your game plan and you're only working jobs, I want you to think about that. I want you to really look at this math. I want us to really sit down, take a break, time out, and really look at the numbers, crunch the numbers. Crunch the numbers and see what is the timeline it would take you to, we're gonna just say, save $1 million, right? So based off what you make in a year versus your expenses in a year, what's left over at the end of the year? We're gonna take that and divide that into 1 million to find out how many years it would take. So if you got 10,000 left over, you divide that into 1 million, it should be 100. If you got 30,000 left over, divide that into 1 million. You know, I don't know what you got saved up. You know, I don't know how much you make in a year. It ain't my business unless you want to share that with me. But whatever it is, I know that you're looking at least 75 years to be able to put 1 million away. So we got to look at some other ways that we can raise capital, or, you know, another stream of income if we're really looking to grow our finances, if that's something you're into. But that's all, y'all. I ain't gonna make this one too long, but I just want to share that. Peace and love.